let's take it. I want to understand, because different Christians give me different answers. So let's just take it very simply. There is the divine nature.
But you don't understand the word nature.
Okay. I want to understand. I'm asking you.
The nature of a man is his outward character, and it's also his inward character. The inward character of man, in the New Testament, uses the word heart.
What?
Heart, H-E-A-R-T, the heart of man. And we use that word heart in English also for the same thing.
I got you. So Jesus' heart, or inner nature, there's the human of it, and there's the divine, according to you, right? So Jesus has a human nature and a divine nature.
Right.
Okay. Then he has a human body and a human soul.
No.
No human soul? Man, you, David, and Crook, and them need to have a sit down, man. So does Jesus have a human soul or not? As a pastor, a Bible expert for 6 years, you taught. You didn't come into this question?
No.
Wow, that's good. I brought you something new. At least you gotta appreciate that, right? All right. So does Jesus have a human soul or not? Let's go to that.
I don't know.
You don't know. All right.
I would think that he has both a divine soul and a human soul.
Okay, so you would say that he has then a human nature, human soul, divine soul, human body, right? No divine body, I'm assuming. And then there's the Holy Ghost, and then there is the God above. And is there a Son also, or are we growing here? How many do we have now?
I would suggest when you get on the internet.
Oh, I've read on this. I went through Bible studies. I went to Horizon Church Group. I went through the whole Bible with the pastor. So don't think that I'm just trying to understand your concept, because he told me something very different. The pastor I used to study with, Christian pastor, he told me that we were born sinful, and he was Christian. He was not Catholic, and he said that the only way to get out of the original sin is to believe in Jesus. So Jesus died for your human.
That teaching comes from Romans 5:12.
I'm sorry?
That teaching comes from Paul's letter to the Romans, chapter 5, verse 12.
Okay. But you don't believe in that?
Well, read it for yourself.
Okay. Let's read it. Romans
5:12.
5:12. Therefore, just as though one man's sin entered the world, the death through sin, and thus death spread to all men because all sin. Okay? So what does that mean to you?
I take it very literally.
That basically men are sinful because they sin and not because they're born with sin?
What Paul is saying there is that he sinned, that we sinned, but not so much we, the people tried to, the Church of Rome, that would apply to us too, that we sinned in Adam.
We sin in what?
We sinned in Adam.
We sin in Adam?
Or as Christian theologians say, we sinned in the loins of Adam.
We sinned inside the loins of Adam?
In the loins of Adam.
That doesn't make sense. What does that mean?
I don't like that expression either. That's the expression they commonly use.
It doesn't make sense. So wait, I want to understand that. So we as humanity that aren't even sperm at the time, but you're saying in the loins of Adam, we did a sin.
Yeah, we haven't been born yet.
How did we sin if we weren't born yet?
When Adam sinned, we weren't born yet.
So we sinned before we were born?
When Adam sinned, we weren't born yet. However, from Jewish thought, we were in Adam. And when Adam sinned,
in the loins,
we sinned, yes.
But we didn't do anything.
But
That's like saying that if the guy killed somebody, his son was in his loins, so his son is sinful.
yes,
You wouldn't believe that, right?
not sinful, but sin. Guilty of sin. Guilty
So
of the
if
same
your
sin
dad
as
did
the
something before you were even born, did you sin?
Lord. I sinned the same sin that he sinned.
How can that be? You weren't even born yet.
You know? I know that.
Right.
But that is what Paul is saying in that verse.
But you know that doesn't make sense, right? Come on. Like, let's just be honest. Like, just human being to human being, right? Like, if you thought that this guy standing here does a sin, and then when years later, like 30 years later, he has a son, and you tell that son, hey, you sinned because you were in the loins of your dad when he did a sin, you know that doesn't make sense, right?
It's
Come on, let's just be honest.
Okay.
Let's just say it. So far you've been very honest. Like, just tell me, you know what? It doesn't make sense.
No, I don't. But I know why Paul.
Okay, I agree. So me and you agree that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make.
Paul wrote it. I'm not disagreeing with you
It
there.
doesn't make sense. Well,
You just did.
We did not sin in the loins of Adam.
All right, we're making great progress. So you're saying what Paul wrote was wrong. We did not sin in the loins of Adam.
Well, I can't say it is wrong.
But you just did.
No, because it's part of a complex argument.
So did we sin in the loins of Adam, yes or no?
Paul is using a complex argument,
Gotcha.
taking Jewish ideas in order to persuade Jewish people that he's writing to.
Okay, but is that the truth or not?
In 21st century Western culture, it's not the truth.
Okay,
But Paul's
so
day,
Paul,
that was very acceptable.
what Paul said today was not the truth. In 21st century Western culture, what he said is false.
Not false.
If it's not the truth, what is it?
The message that he's bringing is all true, but he borrows a Jewish thought, a Jewish concept
Okay.
that is not in and of itself true, but what
Okay.
Paul's saying is true. He's not being dishonest. He's borrowing culture,
So
Jewish
what
culture. But what
Paul-
the point he's making a point, a very important point. He's saying that we have all sinned. But, like Paul says to the church of Philippi, he says, according to the law, I was blameless. Paul writes to the Philippian church, he had not sinned.
We did not sin.
No, that he had not.
Paul had not sinned.
He obeyed the law perfectly.
But he was a part of the loins of Adam as well, right?
That's where he gets caught.
I want to understand that part, right?
Let me finish.
I'm going to let you finish.
So, Paul lived a virtually sinless life. Virtually sinless. Not absolutely.
Paul was sinless?
I said virtually a sinless life.
Didn't he used to like persecute Christians as Saul?
That was a sin.
That was not a sin to persecute Christians and kill them?
It wasn't contrary to the law.
So if somebody does something within the law, then it's not sinful? So I mean, like today, if in a certain state they make meth illegal, if I smoke meth, it's not a sin then?
There's nothing in the law that says that what Paul did is wrong.
But you think he did something wrong by persecuting, killing Christians before when he was Saul,
They
right?
thought it was wrong, and I do too. But it
So he
wasn't
did
according-
sin.
But it wasn't not according to the law.
Okay.
According to Jewish law,
So
he did not sin.
let's go back to the loins, because I didn't understand that, right? You said we are not born with sin, right? But then you said we did sin because we were in the loins of Adam.
I said that Paul wrote that.
Okay, but then
And
you
I'm not
said
agreeing
that's
with it.
false.
No, it's not false.
Today, you said in 21st century Western society, that's not a truth, right?
Yes. But
So
in
it's a
first century,
false.
but in first century thought it was not an untruth.
It was the truth?
It was not an untruth.
It was not an untruth. What's an untruth?
An untruth is a lie.
I'm sorry?
An untruth is a lie.
So untruth is
An untruth is a lie.
not true. It's a lie.
Yeah.
Okay. So what he said, you said is an untruth, and then you said an untruth is a lie. So what Paul said was a lie.
Not by first century standards, no. We're talking about standards of different cultures.
Was it the truth? You said it was an untruth.
It was, you didn't let me finish the point.
Oh, go ahead, finish. I'm sorry.
No, Paul said, wrote to the Philippian Christians that according to the law, he is blameless. But Paul knew some of the people in Rome that he's writing to they've also had that same experience. They were not aware of having broken the law. So Paul said, we've all sinned, come short of the glory of God. I haven't. So Paul comes back to them and says, you sinned in the loins of Adam.
Okay.
So he's saying that to back up his basic teaching that we've all sinned and come short of the glory of God.
But then you said we did not sin in the loins of Adam, right?
Adam never even existed.
Okay. Wait, I'm sorry. Adam never existed?
No, he didn't.
There was no such person named Adam?
No, there was not. Paul knew that.
Who's the first man?
God doesn't answer that question.
So the whole Adam, Eve, Genesis, garden, that never happened?
The first 11 chapters of Genesis are the same genre of literature: epic tales, sagas, myths, and legends.
Ah, okay. So the Bible is sagas, myths, and legends.
Genesis 1 through 11. You can read it for yourself. It's written in a very different genre of literature than the rest of Genesis. And that genre of literature is not used anywhere else in the Bible. In other words,
okay, so Genesis, this is in the Bible, right? Okay, Genesis, what chapter are we talking about?
1 through 11.
Okay, 1 through the beginning of the Bible, right? The beginning, right?
Well, no,
So,
we need to be more precise. 1 through 11.
1 through 11.
No, chapters.
Yeah, chapter 1 through chapter 11.
Yeah.
All the way to here, Genesis chapter 11. This is all myths, false
That's it. Written the same genre of literature. It's myths, sagas.
fabrication. This is not true. It's a myth.
It's not accurate. It's not historically accurate. It's not intended to
Did
be
Adam
historically
and Eve and the whole story with the snake in the garden happen or not?
It's not. No, it did not happen.
It did not happen.
That's right.
Okay, so this is a myth.
Not a myth. It's probably a saga.
If it didn't happen, then that's a myth, right? It's a saga.
They're
It's
myths,
an untruth.
they're myths, the legends, and the sagas and epic tales. 4 different kinds of literature.
Is it an untruth?
A saga is not an untruth.
It's not an untruth. It's not a lie.
It's a
So
story.
it did happen.
No, it's not historically accurate.
Was there an Adam or not? There was no Adam. Was there an Eve?
No,
Was there a garden?
no,
Was there any eating of a tree?
no.
Those are all lies.
The epic tales.
But they're false. They're not true. They didn't
The
happen.
epic tales.
Right, so like, let's say like Odin and Valhalla and all that kind of stuff, right? Which is just made up by somebody's imagination.
Those are very ancient epic tales.
Did Odin exist?
Sagas, what?
Huh?
What?
Odin and the Viking ideas of Valhalla, did that exist?
I don't know anything about that.
Okay, so you're saying this didn't happen though, right?
Historically, no.
Historically, no. So somebody made this up.
No.
So where did this come from?
Ancient sagas and epic tales.
Epic tales are made up by people, right? Imagination.
No,
If it
not
didn't
necessarily.
happen, where did this story come from? Somebody had to have made it up, right? And if you're saying that somebody made this up and it
Not
didn't
somebody.
happen,
It grew. It's part of a culture.
okay, so it's a
Not an
cultural,
individual.
it's a cultural folk tale. Okay,
Fairly close.
okay, but that would mean that it did not happen
Historically, no.
historically. So this folk tale is false because it didn't happen this way.
Well, that's not a good word for it.
Well,
But
why not? I mean, that's what it is. Like if I say, hey, there was a big snake that used to roam San Diego and eat up cows or whatever, and me and a bunch of guys are making this up as a folk tale, and it didn't happen, then that's false. It's not a true thing.
because you're making it up.
Yeah, but somebody had to have made this up,
would I
right?
be correct to say sagas and epic tales are false?
Yes.
That's not the
No, you
proper
can, yeah.
word for it. They're-
Why not? I mean,
they're
if
not
you-
an accurate portrayal
If
of
you
what's
say that there was nobody named Adam, nobody named Eve, there was no garden, somebody came up with that idea
No.
and it didn't actually happen, that means this story is an untruth because it didn't happen,
more
right?
accurate to say it evolved in an ancient culture.
So was there a first man?
Genetically, well, that's.
So if there was no Adam, how did we sin in his loins? We didn't, right? That was
No, we
a
didn't.
false statement as well?
What I'm saying is we're dealing with complicated issues. Muslims simply do not understand.
I think it's pretty simple. You simplified it for me, which is Paul told the untruth.
No, not untrue.
You said that earlier. That what he said was an untruth.
About what?
About us sinning in the loins of Adam.
Yes. That's not true.
That's not true.
Right.
Okay, we agree. So Paul told an untruth, which you said is a lie. You just said that earlier.
It's not truth within our culture, but within his culture, it's acceptable.
But it was still an untruth.
Yes.
So it was still a lie.
Well,
You just said an untruth is a lie.
yes, it is.
So Paul, when he said it, it was still a lie.
But if you look up the word lie
Uh-huh.
in Webster's Collegiate Dictionary,
Okay.
an abbreviation of Webster's Third New National Dictionary, he says a lot of definitions for lie. The English word lie is in a lot of different ways.
So I'm just going to look, okay. Untruth. Let's look up untruth first, right? The first definition, a lie
Now,
or a false statement.
Okay.
So what Paul said was an untruth.
Within our culture, yes.
Okay. And that means it was a lie because that's what you...
Within our culture.
Okay. At the time when he said it, was it a truth?
Not in our modern understanding of the word truth, no.
Okay, so when he said it, even at that time, it was an untruth.
I wouldn't go that far, really. Close to it, though. It wasn't an accurate.
Okay, so let me do something easier, okay?
It wasn't an accurate thing in history. Historically, it's not accurate. Does that help?
What is the opposite of truth? Lie. So if something is not a truth, it's an untruth, it's a lie. Okay.
Those are 20th century word usages.
Right, but I'm
In
saying
the
at the
Western
time,
world.
when he said it, you said Adam didn't even exist. So even at that time, it was not a factual statement. It was not the truth. Hence, Paul lied. I get it.
Lie. We need to be careful of throwing words around.
Those are your words, right? You said
But you're
Paul
throwing
even
them around.
at, no, I'm asking you, at the time that we've already agreed that today what Paul said is definitely a lie by our standards, but
Yeah, our standard.
by our standards. But let's go back to his time. When he said it, there was no Adam, there were no loins, according to you. We didn't sin in the loins of Adam.
Right.
So even then, it was not the truth, right?
Not in the terms of the 20th century.
I'm talking about that time. At that time, was it true? Was there Adam at that time?
It was not historically accurate.
Okay? So once again, since there, according to you, there was no Adam and no loins and no sin, no Eve, no garden. So even when Paul said it, it was not the truth. It was an untruth that Paul said.
The statement was not historically accurate.
All right, cool. So my question to you is, we have a Quran. Do you have one already?
I don't have this one.
Take it. Read it. This is 100% truth. Read it and come back, and if anything is uncomfortable to you, bring it to me and we can discuss it. All right?
Usually you read this one.
They're all the same. It's just different colors and prints.
Oh, no, I have this one.
Okay,
That's what I
take
usually
this
read. This is different.
Take it. They're all the Quran are all the same. All begin with Al-Fatiha, all end with Surah
Different
An-Nas.
translators.
Sure, but the verses, chapters, all the same, right?
Basically.
There are different recitations, there are different people who translate, but read it, what is 100% truth, and come back, and if any verse kind of gets you complicated, come back and we'll talk about it. How's that? I'll get you a bag. Yeah?